There we
Hey
go.
everybody, welcome to episode number 58 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me Antonio Toro. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, for any of the guys that don't know, Antonio is one of the animators for the Living Books game Green Eggs and Ham,
Yep. Mm.
and he was doing cell animation for Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
That I worked on that for a while. Uh, I mean, I've done a lot of things, but a lot of commercials. Near the end, I was doing prop and background design for a show called Puccini's Yard, which that was about 2000, about 25 years ago. But originally I started working at a company called Colossal Pictures as an assistant. And when you're an assistant, you have to learn a different style 3 or 4 times a day because it's not your art that you're animating. You're animating someone else's art. So you have to learn to become really flexible, to have the ability to just pick up other people's types of art and style and go with it. So um anyway, ask a question, please.
I saw your name
Okay.
at the end credits.
Yeah, Cindy Ing. Yeah, we won an award for that.
It
If I
says
remember,
Antonio Toro.
that's me.
Yep, that's you.
That's me. Yeah, I saw Cindy a couple months ago. She's doing fine. Dave Thomas, I think, is directing down in Los Angeles. Uh, anyway, so how we started that was like an early job for because uh, 7 people basically jumped ship from Colossal Pictures and started up Wildbrain, and we were doing a lot of different odd jobs, and then suddenly the Green Eggs and Ham thing came through the door, and suddenly we were all animating for that thing, and it was I don't know, good 8 months of work to do all of that. So um, dealing with the estate of I think his name's Peisel, dealing with them because Dr. Seuss had already passed away at that point in time. So we were trying to. I mean, it's kind of hard to animate Dr. Seuss work because when you're animating characters, you first design them in 3 dimensions. What does it look like front, side, hat, 45 degree. And Peisel, Dr. Seuss, his artwork never really, the characters were never that precise when it came to doing a 360 on them. So that was part of the problem of doing animating anything with Dr. Seuss. So, but we managed to do it, and we ended up a couple of years later getting an award for it.
Nice. And he
Yeah.
was so a lead designer and illustrator for the X-Fools. The spoof is out there.
Oh my God, what company was that? Antithesis, I think it was it that Antithesis? Is that what it says on the credit? Yeah, they were a small company. I don't know if they actually survived or did anything with it because back then, back in the .com era, you had companies that came and went real quickly. The Cadillacs and Dinosaurs people, that was a company called Rocket Science, and they produced two things and then they disappeared. Same thing with that. Antithesis, I believe they just did that one piece and that was it. So they kind of, I don't know. But the major companies were Colossal Pictures and Wild Brand. But during my days at Colossal and Wild Brain, I ended up also as a screenwriter for Amityville 5 and Amityville 6, and that got me into WGA. Um, I've done a lot of storyboards for. Oh, right. Abby Cadabby was another show for PBS. There was the first CG Muppet series, and I think it lasted a season or two, maybe. But I did storyboards for them as well. What are you? So what are you looking at there?
Well, I'm working on Cameron's Nostalgia podcast.
I know, but what are you reading my credits there? You came up with a couple of things that I've forgotten about.
Yes, I am.
Okay. What else is on there? What would you like to know?
So, I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Okay.
Here's the first question. How did you get interested in animation?
Uh, I had was working, going to school at the Academy of Art, and after I left, I had a portfolio, and I was doing a lot of different art kind of work, but there was anything really steady. And somebody suggested that I go take a test at Colossal for an assistant animator, and it just seemed to be something easy to do for me. It was, to read the animation charts on the side of the drawings and things like that. And a couple weeks later, I found myself in the ink and paint department for a commercial for Colossal Pictures, and that was the Edward spot, and that was a Peter Chung and early animation for Peter Chung. Peter Chung eventually ended up designing and animating Eon Flux, but his work was just very complex and 50, 60 different layers going on um, during the animation, even tiny little things in the background. And so I'm in the ink and paint department for like a morning, and then they were doing ink and paint on like some people running in the background because it's like a giant monster attacking a city. And somebody goes, "Oh, they didn't do the in betweens on the shadows. Does anybody in here know how to do animation?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do this." And it took me about 10 minutes, and I did that. And then I got a call, or they got a call from the big house because we were on Third Street, which is in the middle of nowhere, by a canal in San Francisco, and the main building was off of God, what were they at that time? I think anyway, before they moved to Mariposa, But the big house basically said, "Oh, you got somebody who knows how to do animation. Can you send them over?" And I did, and it was insanity because it was 3 4 weeks, about like 90 120 hours a week. We were sleeping there trying to finish this commercial, and I animated quite a bit on that. I mean, not a lot, but not the whole thing, but a lot of major scenes I animated on, and I sort of had an idea what I was doing, and ever since then, it just sort of it's that thing about like you have to sink or swim, and I'm usually pretty good in a bad situation, so I ended up swimming, and that landed me a more permanent position as an assistant at Colossal for about 6 years, I believe, and then Wildbrain cropped up, and then I jumped ship to go to Wildbrain, and then watched that company go from 7 people in 1994 to about 300 something in 2000, and then 2001. No, actually, in 1999, and in 2000, it was down to about 16 again. It was a major bloodbath because the economy had crashed, and that was the last time I did animation. Was in 2000. But Green Eggs and Ham was like, it was an early job for Wild Brain, and it definitely made a it got us noticed in the animation world, because prior to that we were just sort of doing all these sort of catch-all kind of little jobs, but then we did that and suddenly we were well known.
Nice. So, what was your first animation gig?
uh the Edward job. If you can go to YouTube, it's on YouTube. uh, Edward, Levi's, and Peter Chung, and it's 30 seconds, but there's a lot going on in 30 seconds.
Okay, how do I spell that?
Edward, and then Levi's, Levi apostrophe s,
Apostrophe.
apostrophe s, Levi's.
This is a hard one.
Edward.
EDWARD.
Hold on, let me find it for you. um okay, just sent you a text. Let me see if I can find a link. Do, 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 do. Yep, found it. Oh, Edward. My mistake. Stop that. All right. Let's go back to Zoom. There, sent you the link. That was the first thing I animated on.
Those for the Hall of Advertising.
Yeah, that's basically what we did. We did a lot of commercials. I mean, a lot of commercials. We did. Here's one. Uh, Ultron Sprite. Mm, yeah, this is the one. Don't play, don't play. Do. Did that one. Superman. And did, wow, what else did we do? Oh, right. Wonka. Oh, man. Yeah, we did plenty of these. There we go. Stop that. We did quite a few of those. So, uh, on the Sprite and the Coke Supermom, I did a lot of background design, and which led to doing a lot of props because I knew there are people that can do animation better than me, but they couldn't do the backgrounds better than me. So it's just sort of like you find a niche thing that you do and you stick with it because if you can do it better than other people, then keep doing that particular thing. So I loved doing backgrounds. I loved designing, buildings and things like that because it just makes me happy to create like a place, create a world. But anyway, but see, there's, I mean, but every day especially at Colossal, these commercials, right? All of these were at Wild Brain. The commercials at Colossal Pictures were like, um, State Farm, and there was, bug spray, and there was a lot of sneaker commercials and things like that. But if you're an assistant, you're just sort of part of it. Whereas this is the stuff that I can actually point out what I did, as opposed to just sort of like drawing 5 or 6 drawings in between someone else's work. So, but that's how I got started.
Nice. So, we're also like working on the Living Books game, Green Eggs and Ham.
Um, it was a lot of fun because we were all doing it together. Usually you're dealing with a director and you're dealing with a lot of people before it got to you. Whereas, we were like 7 to 9 people and all of us were animating. And it was a responsibility, but it was also just a heck of a lot of fun to do. Because you got to play with the characters and things like that, and how they move and what they did. So,
And do you have it behind the scenes pictures and footage of Green Eggs and
no,
Ham?
no, I got nothing. I mean, again, that was more than 25 years ago. But um, yeah, I did not keep anything from those days. Are you a fan of Dr. Seuss?
Yes.
Okay, what's your favorite book?
Well, I like all the places you'll go.
That's what I figured. That's a great book. I remember growing up, my favorite book was Go Dog Go. Just something about a dog driving a car and then going to a party with all these dogs and in a tree. I mean, when I was very young, I really loved that book.
Do you have a Green Eggs handbook?
No, I, as you can see, I got a lot of books, but no, I don't have green eggs in ham. You? Do you have yours?
I used to read it when I was a child.
Do you have a copy of it still?
I lost it.
Oh Lord, that happens. I see you got Kermit there behind you, and one of the rats. What is that? Okay, that's kind of cool.
Do you have that CD-ROM?
No, and even when I worked on it, I didn't have it. Do you?
I do. It was on classicreload.com.
Wow. How does it play? What Classic Reload, is that a website? Oh, wow. Game and software preservation. That is fascinating. Wow, Wolfenstein Castle. That's been a while.
And how many shots do you animate?
How many what? You mean in the anime in the thing in
Mm.
Green Eggs and Ham? I God, I don't remember. It was quite a bit of them. But again, there were we were a crew of about actually no, it was like 7 people total that was working on that thing. I mean, Cindy Ing and Dave Thomas and Hamey and yeah, Phil Robinson. He was a great guy.
All right. So, what was it
Okay.
like working on Cadillacs and dinosaurs?
Uh, that was kind of unfulfilling because it never really got. I don't think it really got finished per se. Did it get finished? Do you think? So I was working on that, and I was working on something else for rocket science at the same time. But I just the technology I don't think matched what they could want to create with it. You know what I mean? I just remember it was kind of clunky. Um, but I remember animating some of the interstitial stuff on there, like monsters, volcanoes, and stuff like that. Okay.
So you must be, what was it like working on the X-Files?
Um, Again, small company. There's like two guys running it, and I did a lot of background work on that prop design. Um, I have no idea if they ever finished it. Does it say anywhere there that they finished it?
You must be an illustrator.
I am. I do. I Let me show you. Stuff
Oh,
like I'm working on this one right now. Um, one of yeah. Uh, like that. Can you see that?
I could.
Okay. Mm, it's just like that. This one kind of shows like a cityscape from above in a character. You know, I take the stuff and I scan it and I color it and I can send you some finished artwork later if you want. But it's a lot of monsters, things like that. Yeah, I still do some writing and slowly working on a graphic novel, which is based on one of my screenplays. And I don't know, the world has gotten a lot bigger. There's 40 different stories, there's like 100 something different characters. It's just a lot of fun for me. So I gotta find some actual artwork here. That okay.
You worked on 3 games.
On what? Like, mm, that kind of stuff. Um, I mean, recently I worked on doing storyboards for a horror film. Um, in shot in New Jersey. Oop, no, I can't do that one. Cancel, cancel, cancel. And that was fun doing doing storyboards for a horror film because I got to design some of the more horrific parts of it. But I think they finished shooting recently. Let's go with where'd it go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Yeah, stuff like that. Anyway, that's some of my artwork. Can you see what I sent?
Yes, I saw
Okay.
those.
Okay. Cool.
You know, Peter Chung is one of the animation directors for Sesame Street.
Did he end up working for Sesame Street? God, I can't imagine somebody totally opposite from Sesame Street, but I'm glad that he's working. Because he always did creepy, weird, people getting shot up and things like that. I'm glad.
Here's a picture of Peter.
Yeah, there's Peter. Normally he had glasses, but yeah, that's Peter Chung. Is this your phone, by the way? Am I talking to you on the phone?
It's just a picture.
Yeah, I know, I know. I see him. Okay, turn back around. I'm good. I remember when we were working on one of his commercials, and a bunch of us went out to lunch, and I'm talking to him, asking, it's like, well, what are you working on next? He goes, some stupid thing about some woman running around with guns, and that became Eon Flux. If I remember correctly, Tony Stacci and somebody else ended up going to work on it in, I believe, Thailand or Bangkok or something like that. Went to the studio there to do that, to work on the series. I think I did some storyboards for them as well.
Alright. Here is one of the animations that your friend did.
My friend. Oh, but this looks like Cindy Ng. Oh no, is this Peter Chun?
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't even picture Peter Chung doing this.
Water while you wash and brush your teeth.
Sorry. What's that?
Good. Don't waste water.
Okay. Well, glad he's working.
Your friend Peter works for the Water Conversation.
Well, I mean, that was the name of that spot, I guess. Was that for Sesame Street or was that for something else? That was for something else, right?
That's for Sesame Street.
Okay. Well, it's been a while.
And do you watch Sesame Street as a kid?
Uh, no. I grew up on old movies.
And what movies do you watch?
Oh my God. A lot of movies. I grew up in a time when on Saturday night they would play like a monster movie on TV. Back in the day where you had to actually wait for something to show up on television. You couldn't just call up stuff now on your phone or your computer. So there was whenever you got to see something weird and old, it was a hard battle to get to that point. Because now I can find anything I wanted to if I hear about some movie. But I like a lot of old horror, a lot of old noir. But there's some modern stuff that I really like as well. I mean, this thing that I'm working on now, it's sort of this accumulation of horror and noir and the old monster movies and things like that that I grew up with. It's kind of a mishmash of gangsters and detectives and monsters and stuff like that. So I guess it's a love letter to all of that stuff that I grew up with.
You have watched Attack of a 50-Foot Woman.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Not a great movie, but it's a fun one. I I mean, there's this one called The Man Who Laughs, and it's a silent movie, and it's not quite a horror, and it's not quite a fantasy, and it was back when they can make movies that were weird, that were strange, and Conrad Veidt, who eventually was uh, he was Caesar the sleepwalker in Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, but he was also he did a lot of work in America. He eventually was like Major Strausser in Casablanca. He played, a heavy in a few other movies. He was actually in uh, the film that made Bogart a star called All Through the Night, and it's a comedy, and it's sort of about like gangsters fighting fighting Nazis in Germany in Brooklyn during World War II. And it's kind of like this gangster is trying to find out what happened to his favorite baker who did cheesecake. And but the villain was played by Conrad Veidt in that. He played a Nazi, but he played it for laughs. But
Alright.
okay,
Do you read books when you were a kid?
I read a lot of books. My favorites were books on like the myths, like the Roman myths, the Greek myths, the Icelandic myths. There was a series of books by this illustrator, and I. I've been drawing since I was about 3 years old, so it's kind of like I really dug this guy's work. I really loved this guy's work, and want to see if I can find a copy of it. Um, right. Um, I can't pronounce this guy's name, but Diolaris. Um, do. That's this is the illustrator. Um, but yeah, his work was kind of simple, but just a lot of fun to look at when, especially when you're, 4 or 5 years old. And it kind of stuck with me. But grew up reading a lot of horror, a lot of science fiction, a lot of history. I like history as well. What about you? What are you reading now?
Well, I've been reading stories, bedtime stories.
Oh, which ones?
There was some Dr. Seuss books.
Okay.
So these are the books that I have here in my room.
Okay.
And do you remember playing toys when you were a baby?
Um, we were poor, so I made my own toys. I would make things, and those would be my toys, like little people, things like that. Oh, wait. Ah, see him. It's like a robot. I've had this for a long time. But yeah, I would make stuff like this, and these would be my toys. But this is the only one I kept. What's your favorite toy?
Well, I like all sorts of toys.
Okay. What's your favorite right now?
Wind up toys.
Oh, those are cool. Those are very cool. Well, do you have any more questions?
Alright, to wrap this up,
Yes, sir.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Where's Wellbrain filmed?
We were 17th and Mariposa, I believe. We had a couple places. When we first started out, it was a house up in the Castro Hills. When it was just seven of us, we were literally in someone's basement. And by the time we got to, I believe it was 17th, and I think it was Mariposa. It was a warehouse in cramped upper floor warehouse in the Mission District of San Francisco. Then they moved to someplace a few blocks away from there. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny because it's like we had this huge space and there was only like one plug that we could use. So we like circled the desks around the plug so we can actually have our be able to animate because we had desks that had light bulbs inside them with the disc, with the animation disc, so we can animate. It was all paper and pencil. It's all paper and pencil and light box, and not computer at all. I mean, when I first started at Colossal Pictures, there was like it was like right in the beginning of the computer stuff, and there was a room full of people that were painting cells, and there was a camera department that would like literally put every cell down, take a picture, put it on film. And one day all the ink and paint people were gone because the technology had advanced. So you just scan it into a computer, and then you can color it in the computer. And eventually the camera department was gone because the technology kept advancing. So what used to take 18 people to do, then it could be done with 3 people. The technology had advanced to the point where a lot of people lost jobs, but on the other hand, a lot more people can create more things. They can create more animation with it. So it's like it's a double-edged sword and kind of a thing. Because right now, you and I are talking on Zoom on this computer, right? And we're communicating. But back in the day, this would have been an impossibility. But now you have the ability to create and produce and create this project of yours, you know, with this technological advance.
I did follow you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that was a while back. Hmm. Oh, geez. Yep, that's me.
Are they headshots of you?
No, I just took that with a camera with my phone. I don't, I'm a behind the scenes guy. I don't need headshots. Hmm. Okay, turn back. Thank you, Cameron.
You're welcome. Well, Antonio, thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Um, it's been an honor, and have fun. Just have fun with us.
Nice. Stay
Okay.
tuned for there'll be more guests coming up. Until next time.
All
Peace.
right. Peace. Take care.